Oh no, there we go. Hello everybody, welcome to this Facebook Live video. Today I'm with Donna and we're going to be talking about how hypnobirthing and having a doula can complement your birth if you have a planned caesarean or if your birth turns into an emergency caesarean. So welcome Donna, and thank you for agreeing to do this with me.
Pleasure. Hello everyone.
It's very informal, so we're just going to have a chat about sort of how hypnobirthing helped you really, Donna. So
Definitely.
do you want to just tell us a bit about your journey of hypnobirthing, why you decided to do it?
Okay, so we decided to do hypnobirthing largely because we were first-time parents and we were in a new country. We didn't have any idea really of the system here, and hypnobirthing really appealed to us in terms of the sense of mind over matter, and that your mind and mental determination to do Something can largely win over what your body's feeling and how scared you are, and the fear involved in the process of being pregnant and giving birth and even parenting afterwards. I think the idea of controlled breathing and visualizing something with positive thoughts and positive affirmations really makes a difference in terms of how you perceive something and how your experience can end up being. So it was really appealing to us to get our minds right for birth, and use that in how we achieved it.
Okay. So you was planning to have a natural vaginal delivery.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about what happened.
So we had a very rocky, interesting pregnancy. By all accounts, it was amazing in terms of we didn't have big side effects or any issues throughout the pregnancy. But at about 32 weeks, our little boy decided to turn around and sit in a breech position, which really, I think, made us quite nervous and feel a little bit out of control in terms of the fact that this wasn't our plan. But having used sort of the techniques we learned in hypnobirthing, and having learned a lot along the way, we did all sorts of things like yoga positions, swam. I stood on my head sort of in a yoga pose for a lot of the time. We bounced on the ball, but also understood that at the end of the day, sometimes babies need to be breech, and that it isn't really your plan, and you need to adjust and set your sail in a different direction, but still not lose the control in a way, which was really nice.
So did you feel that hypnobirthing gave you that control?
Definitely. I think the hypnobirthing and just being prepared gave us the clarity and freedom to actually readjust and understand. Everybody always talks about, oh, you can't plan your birth. Well, you plan everything else. You plan your wedding, which is this massively big day. Why would you not plan your birth? Even plan small things within it. So for us, skin to skin afterwards was really important. Small things like my partner, husband, Ricardo, dressing our baby for the first time. We wanted to have that regardless of how he was born. And the most important thing to us was ensuring that he had a calm and relaxed birth. And that is completely achievable with a C-section, which hypnobirthing gave us that control and that mental capacity to be able to go forward and readjust our direction.
So what you're saying, when you say about planning, so obviously planning a birth from start to finish, but is sort of like maybe unachievable, but planning particles of that, so the important things that you want, do you feel that you achieved all of those things?
Definitely. And even I think in a way you can plan a birth from start to finish on the smaller fronts, on the things that are important, if you think them through, regardless of the circumstance. So if I look at our birth plan, we had a natural vaginal birth plan that we had to scrap, but we were able to take elements of that right from the start of our birth to sort of post-birth and recovery, we were able to take elements of that vaginal birth plan that we had planned down and put them into our C-section birth plan. And I think that was really, really important, that HypnoBirthing gave us those tools to be able to do that, which gave us and empowered us to be able to have the birth that we wanted, regardless of the fact that the actual delivery itself changed.
Yeah. Because so you decided to have a cesarean. Did you
Yes.
feel informed of your decision to do that? Did you feel supported and informed?
Yes,
Yeah.
so what we did, Katie was our doula, which she didn't say in the beginning. What we did is after we had tried all natural methods of turning him, we were given the opportunity to have an ECV, which we did. And I really wanted to exhaust all options because vaginal birth in my mind had really been important. And it was a process of me getting my mind around the fact that that was possibly not going to be the case. But then once we'd had that, I was very happy to accept the fact that actually this was our plan and we need to readjust, and we were able to take elements of that plan and create a whole new plan.
Yeah.
So, having that opportunity to do that really made a difference. We were calm and we were excited about going into our C-section.
Fantastic. So so you planned a section date, but baby had other plans, so natural
Yes.
labour started.
Natural labour started on the day we least wanted it, which did for 5 seconds make me panic and made me really upset. He was a Christmas baby, so when my waters broke at midnight on Christmas Eve, we pretended it wasn't going to happen, but it did. So as much as you can't plan, you can plan, in that even though my waters broke and I went into labour, we were able to use those elements of hypnobirthing and keep ourselves calm and keep ourselves adjusting to what was happening, but still using the elements of what we'd planned.
Yeah. So can you share with us, Donna, when waiting for you to go down to theatre, when you went into theatre, when the section was happening, what things of hypnobirthing worked for you at those points?
So I think right when my waters broke, I sort of had a little bit of a panic and I started to use my breathing techniques to calm myself. I had very specific visualizations that I'd worked on, and we sort of I took myself off there and started to calm myself down and prepare myself in that way. And we got ourselves organised. I'd had my bag packed for a couple of sort of days/weeks that wasn't completely packed. So we had to pack the last few things in. And I think the whole way through our process of waiting for our C-section, and being checked over when we got to the hospital, we used different elements. So we used our breathing sort of to help me through some of the contractions I'd started to have. We'd used my visualizations. I wasn't very good at affirmations, but I had certain things that I kept thinking over and over to myself, which really did help to calm us and to bring a bit of fun into the waiting time, because at the end of the day, this is a massive moment for you, and you want it to be fun and you want to remember it, not in a way that you thought, oh, that was horrible, I'll never want to go through that again, but in a way that you were excited for your baby's arrival and for probably one of the biggest days of your life. You don't want to look back and think, goodness, I was miserable on that day. You want to think, goodness, we were so excited and we were celebrating all the things that you should be celebrating when you're having a baby, you know? So,
and do you feel that hypnobirthing contributed to you walking in and feeling calm and relaxed, and then knowing that the environment that you'd suggested that you wanted to the practitioner team around you, that you want your baby to have a calm and gentle entry into the world, and as to feel how you was feeling, do you think?
Definitely. And I think the fact that we went in with our birth plan and had adjusted our birth plan to a C-section. Now, obviously, in some people's circumstances, there might not be the time to do that. So my suggestion is beforehand, especially if you are going to use a birth plan and you're going to have a birth plan, to go in with an alternate birth plan. So my husband laughed at me right from the very get-go. I had a gold plan, a silver plan, and a bronze plan. And our plan wasn't necessarily the gold plan. Actually, we ended up using the bronze plan, and that was okay. We were very happy with that at the end of the day. And I think that the benefits of it is that even under a very medicalized circumstance, you can still bring elements in right from the very beginning, whether that be that your birth is planned and you have a set C-section date, right to the very end. I mean, small things like it made me calm and we could have fun, and I even put a bit of makeup on before we went into the section because it made me feel normal. I mean, we'd gone in 2 a.m. to the hospital, so I didn't feel the most glamorous person, even though, you know, I knew that we weren't going to have the opportunity to get into a pool, into a birth pool, and go through an experience that people are very lucky to go through. We were still very lucky in that we dictated our environment, and the practitioners were really professional, and they were excited because we were excited. And sort of the medical part of having a spinal tap was really easy because I was calm at the end of the day. And the sort of, because I was calm, the practitioners were calm, and the anaesthetist was calm, and it really gave for a really wonderful environment. And we were very specific about the fact that we'd wanted a calm entry for our baby into the world. So he came out not crying at all, and he was super alert and attentive and awake. And we'd asked for the curtain to be dropped because that was an important thing for me to see that our baby being born as we would have in a vaginal birth. And even though it was medicalized and my husband was horrified, he didn't want to see anything behind the curtain. He had a no way below the curtain policy. He even looked and he was amazed, and it was fantastic. It was just a fantastic feeling that this little baby had come into this world calm enough to still be, you know, asleep and not cry. And as he came out, he opened his eyes and he was calm. He didn't cry or perform or get pulled out too quickly. And when he got put on my chest and we had skin to skin, we ended up having skin to skin probably for a good 90 minutes because we'd made sure that the practitioners and the midwives knew that that was so important to us.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough that he fed really easily after that, and we really ended up with a fantastic birth, which we couldn't have hoped for better.
And do you think that sort of your experience of having a doula and hypnobirthing contributed to your recovery after?
Yes, I think a lot of people do a lot of preparation for before baby comes, whereas once you have that little person in your arms, you're going to have to feed the baby, you're going to have to change the baby, and I think, you know, having firstly someone to keep your partner, if you have a partner, and yourself calm through the process and follow up with you after the process is really important. And for us, we were really nervous about not knowing the system we were in, so having Katie with us was really empowering in that we knew she'd been through the system processes before, and she was there just to help us and advise us if we needed it. And she, you know, she was able to look after our interests and protect our interests when we were unsure that we weren't necessarily going to be able to. So I think having a person there, whether it be a doula or someone who maybe understands a little bit more and is a third party, so isn't super invested in your well-being, although is invested in a way, can really help empower you to be able to make the decisions that are important at the time without overwhelming yourself. And I think the hypnobirthing afterwards, you know, you never stop using those techniques. No. Breathing is a fantastic thing. To be able to calm yourself down and step away for 2 minutes. Visualizing, take yourself off. If you're feeding for hours on, your own, you know, in a space, to be able to take yourself off and think of other places to be while you're feeding. It sounds silly to use it, but it you know, it can be incredibly frustrating when you're a new parent, particularly if you're breastfeeding. You spend hours on your own, and sometimes we have a baby who can't have the TV on because he's super distractive and he's super attentive, and if people are talking around us, you know, he doesn't feed very well. So to be able to sit quietly but not feel so alone and isolated by taking yourself off, by calming yourself, by following your breathing techniques afterwards makes a huge difference to your experience. And also just the power of positive thought, being grateful for what you have. You know, there's so many women out there who can't have children or who wish they'd done things differently, who can't breastfeed. You know, by being positive throughout the process, I think you bring to yourself an appreciation that you possibly wouldn't have if you weren't focusing on being that way.
And just before we finish, what sort of overall, how do you think hypnobirthing and having a doula helped your partner? So whether it be through the techniques or whether it be through just having that support, how do you think, on reflection, having those things helped your partner?
Okay, well, one of the real concerns for me is my partner's quite a highly strung person, and I worry about him a lot. So one of the things that empowered us was by having someone else there to support him through the process, without me having to worry about him, because that space was really for me to worry about what we need to go through as a couple in terms of me physically. Giving birth is a really sort of, it's time for you as a woman. And I think you can't then be distracted and be focused on your partner, even if you really want to and have been all the way through your relationship, whether long or short. I think that having someone there to take that place and to worry about them for you takes that stress away from yourself. And I think from a hypnobirthing perspective, firstly, any course, regarding hypnobirthing or antenatal, it's important for your partner to be fully informed as to what's going to happen in birth, because information is key in terms of keeping them calm and keeping them in an environment that they're comfortable with. And I think hypnobirthing for us was really important because the techniques, the visualization techniques, regardless of whether he used them or not, were really important to me. And he understood what was important to me. And that really empowered us to go in, and even though our birth plan had changed sort of 3 times, it's really important that he knew what was on that, so we could both go in and have an empowered, fantastic birth for us. And I think, you know, just on Katie's front, she was a fantastic companion when I couldn't be a companion to my partner. So he came into the theatre and he was calm and he was laughing and joking, and, you know, right down to the moment our baby was born, you know, he was just in awe, and he was in a space that he could be in awe. He wasn't terrified of the fact that I was going into theatre and I was going to be cut open. He was excited and couldn't wait to meet our child, regardless of, you know, how our child was born.
Yeah.
So it was really important. It was a fantastic thing, and I encourage anyone who has a partner who's going to be there to go with you on your hypnobirthing journey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if your partner hadn't have been that supportive, could it have been different, do you think?
Yeah, I think it would have been really, you know, I would have fed on his stress.
Yeah.
And that doesn't, even if you learn all the techniques in the world, if you feed off someone else's stress, it doesn't make for a relaxing environment. I think that, you know, the fact that we were on the same page and